Hey up, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek, and it's list time. This time we're doing the most controversial deaths in sci-fi TV history. This is an article from Slash Film. I keep saying iFilm, I don't know why, I'm an idiot. Slash Film, and I've not read it, so I don't know what's coming. I know one of them that's coming because, as you can see when I share the page, there we go, we've got Natasha Yah there, so we know that who that's going to be. But I think is that Natasha Yah from Yesterday's Enterprise? I think it could be, couldn't it? I think it is, but I could be wrong. Anyway, right, so let's get on with the article, shall we? But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. I'm also on Rumble, and my live stream's also on Twitch and the other stuff as well. Spotify, that's what I'm thinking of. Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts. You can also find me on Facebook, X and Instagram. Links for all that stuff are in the description. Right, off we go from Maurice Molyneux. Right, TV drama writers obsess over audience engagement with a huge emphasis on personal stakes for their characters. The biggest of these is the prospect of death. But 70 plus years of TV have taught us that mortality is rare for characters played by a show's stars. So when actors leave a show or the decision is made to cut a character, writers see a golden opportunity to play the ultimate stakes game by going terminal. It's safe to say character departures always upset a segment of a show's audience, however small, but not all such deaths are created equal. Some generate a wave of complaints, others a tsunami of outrage. It's the deaths of characters we love or love to hate, and those especially shocking or egregious that drive fans to write all caps messages, accompanied by many exclamation points, in fanzines, letter columns and social media. Here are 14, crikey, I didn't know that many, of the most controversial of the controversial. Right, number 14, Daniel Jackson, Stargate SG-1. Who technically died more than once in Stargate, hasn't he? I mean, he died in the movie, didn't he? When it was, not Michael Shanks, when it was the other fella who's... James Spader. When it was James Spader, he died in that, didn't he? Put in a sarcophagus and brought back by Ra. Anyways, there he is. Right. Oh my God, they killed Daniel. This South Park inspired exclamation echoed through Stargate fandom as early as 2006 because Stargate SG-1 couldn't get enough of rubbing out its resident archaeologist. Oh, here we go. It began in the 1994 Stargate movie where Dr. Daniel Jackson, James Spader, met his demise but regenerated using sarcophagus technology. The series made the cycle of killing and reviving Jackson, Michael Shanks, into a habit. Throughout the show's run, he and replicas and alternate timeline versions of him returned from the brink of death, or death itself, numerous times. Such absurdity wasn't lost on the characters who once quipped, Dr. Jackson is gonna die, when he sees this. What, again? However, Jackson's death and subsequent ascension in Season 5's penultimate episode, Meridian, incited a backlash. The uproar led to an 11-month campaign to bring the character and actor back, complete with advertisements, whatever, in Hollywood trades and publications like Salon. Whatever the catalyst, Ascended Jackson made a few appearances in Season 6. Eventually he resumed human form in Season 7 to continue his adventures and face his slippery mortality again and again. Didn't he leave because he wanted to do other things and then didn't end up doing other things? I think maybe he appeared in 24. I don't remember seeing him in much else. And so he came back. He begged them. I mean, it was joked, wasn't it, in the... I think it might have been in 200, the episode 200, where they were doing the Wormhole Extreme cast and their versions of the SG-1 team. And that actor that played the version of Daniel Jackson hinted that he begged to come back after they killed him off. But anyway, number 13, Cara Starbook Thrace, Battlestar Galactica. Everything Starbuck, Katie Sackhoff, stirred controversy right from the start, beginning with casting a woman, which some dismissed as a girl boss move. Was that phrase around back then? Dunno. Even Dirk Benedict, the original 1978 Starbook, joined in and ridiculed the new version as Stardo. Not anymore, I think they're great friends now, I think. Predictable and tiresome Mary Sue comments abounded. Not at the time. Beyond being the Galactica's very own Top Gun Maverick, she could hotwire a biomechanical Cylon raider, boasted sharpshooting skills with a pistol, excelled in hand-to-hand combat, played a vital role in discovering the ruined 13th colony, and ultimately led the way to Earth. Given all this, it's unsurprising that even her death sparked controversy. Few accepted she would actually meet such an anticlimactic end as depicted in Maelstrom. Indeed, she returned 3 episodes later, but the show managed to have it both ways. Starbuck was back, but then she located the wreckage of her old Viper and her own rotted corpse inside. So dead, but also alive. What then was she? A ghost? An angel? In the end, some concluded she was a deus ex machina. I can't actually remember. I've watched Battlestar Galactica, but I can't actually remember what happened. I've got the box set over there somewhere. I'll have to watch it all again. And I've got the originals as well. Even season 2. Right, number 12, Professor Maximillian Aruro, Sliders, with the great John Rhys Davies. Sliders, which I did see some episodes. I wasn't a huge fan of it. The episodes I did see were okay, but I didn't watch it regularly. Sliders was never a big hit, in part due to Fox network interference and studio politics, leading co-creator and executive producer Tracy Torme to disassociate himself from the show. Actor John Rhys Davies engaged in frequent battles with the production team over script quality, ultimately leading to the decision to eliminate his character, Professor Arturo. Exodus, the story responsible for his demise, took perverse pleasure in subjecting the character to humiliation, draining his brain fluid, I think I've suffered from that, and crippling his faculties before 2 bullets take him out. His final lines amount to nothing, and his fellow sliders have little to say in the aftermath, making it a big fat so what to the audience. Arturo, though pretentious and cantankerous, served as the essential element that bound the sliders together. Fans felt his removal disrupted the character dynamic crucial to the struggling show. Many still believe that Arturo's ignoble exit marked the show's jump the shark moment. And speaking of that, number 11, the Lone Gunmen. Yes, they died an ignominious death, really, didn't they? In season 10 of the X-Files. But anyway, this was after their own series, kind of bombed, didn't it? The Lone Gunmen series, which were quite good. Anyway, the X-Files' final season episode, Jump the Shark, marked the end of the show's recurring trio of quirky conspiracy theorists, the Lone Gunmen, John Byers, Bruce Harwood, Melvin Frohickey, Tom Braidwood, and Richard Ringo Langley Dean Hagland. They'd appeared in every season of the original series run, and their own eponymous series, The Lone Gunmen. Following its quick cancellation, the network soured on them, and the best the X-Files showrunners could get was an episode centred on their demise. At the episode's conclusion, the gunmen sacrificed their lives by sealing themselves in a corridor with the biotoxin-spewing terrorists, saving thousands. They share their final words with others through a fire door window, unable to touch them. Fans criticised the contrivances leading to the gunman's fate and the absence of the character's expected comic flair and the tired cliché that people must die to become true heroes. The circumstance of their fatal decision even drew comparisons to Spock's, Leonard Nimoy's, behind glass death in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, with some calling it an homage and others a rip-off. Ultimately, for many X-Files fans, Jump the Shark marked the point where the Lone Gunmen jumped the shark. That's not really what it means, is it? Jump the shark. It means like a ridiculous stunt or whatever that turns the show into like ludicrousness. It didn't really, did it? Number 10, Talia Winters, Babylon 5. Now, did she really die? I mean, there were a hint that she would, but we'll see. And then she was played by, I forgot the name of the actress, Andrea Thompson, who was the wife of the Michael Garibaldi actor. Oh, God, what was his name? Can't remember, but he's not with us anymore. Anyway, a pivotal line from the Babylon 5 pilot notes that no one here is exactly what he appears. This proved frighteningly accurate for the station's resident commercial telepath, Talia Winters, Andrea Thompson. Winters remained generally sympathetic until her final episode, when she experienced a unique form of death, the demise of her personality. In Divided Loyalties, it's revealed that a Psychor sleeper agent unknowingly operates on Babylon 5. Such unfortunates were subjected to drugs and telepathic manipulation to craft a new personality suited to the Corps' needs, buried so deep in the subconscious that even a deep scan can't unveil it. A telepathically transmitted password will trigger the switch, annihilate the genuine personality, and allow the implanted one to take permanent control. This is precisely what transpired when renegade telepath Lita Alexander, Patricia Tallman, arrived at the station to expose the agent armed with the password. It surfaced Winters' sleeper personality, who immediately attempted to murder Alexander. The Winters we knew instantly ceased to exist. In a subsequent episode, Psy-Cop Alfred Bester, Walter Koenig stated, "We learned some interesting things about Ms. Winters in the course of her debriefing and examination. Bester could have been lying, but even if true, it remained uncertain whether he meant physical or psychic dissection. Either way, chilling." Yeah, so like I said, they probably did bump her off. I don't know how dissecting somebody could teach them anything, but they probably did bump. Or she's just locked away somewhere. But it was a funny one, was that, in Babylon 5, where, just like that. She was just different, and that was it. "You blew my cover!" or whatever, that was it. Anyway, it just came out of nowhere, really. Anyway, but I must admit, I did prefer Lita Alexander, because Patricia Tallman was super hot, and she still is. But so is Andrea Thompson. I wish I could remember the name of the actor that played Michael Garibaldi. Oh, God. I can see him. I can't bloody think of his name. Me and the bloody names, eh? Number 9, Anto Jones, Torchwood. You know what? I didn't even know he died. I've seen Torchwood and I've forgotten all about it. The main cast of Torchwood, a Doctor Who spin-off many people don't even know existed. Well, ask him about Class then. Included the Anto Jones, Gareth David Lloyd, the aide-de-camp and romantic interest of the series lead Captain Jack Harkness, John Barrowman. Many LGBTQ+ viewers, allies and others embraced the character, so when Children of Earth Day 4 in Season 3 delivered an avoidable death for Jones, fandom erupted. Killing Jones, one of the few prominent queer characters on TV involved in a same-sex relationship at the time, spurred accusations the show had played the disempowering bury your gays trope. That's not happening now, is it? Where queer characters die in higher percentages than their straight counterparts. The ensuing outcry sparked online campaigns with a charity fundraiser in his name for children in need. Online threats appeared, targeting the show's writers. Not serious ones, every day everybody gets some sort of threat, don't they, online. Anyway, an impromptu shrine dedicated to the character appeared at the real-world location that served as the entrance to the Torchwood hub, still standing as of summer 2023. There we go. I didn't even remember that he died. Number 8. Should be number 1, this, shouldn't it? Natasha Yah, Star Trek The Next Generation, and that's a hologram, isn't it, at the end of the episode. Right, original Star Trek, like most networks of its time, avoided killing off its main characters or reversed any such deaths before the end credits. Excuse me. This rule was briefly broken in Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan by Spock's sacrifice. However, the producers performed an immediate resurrection in the subsequent film. Permadeath appeared to be the exclusive province of red shirts. Well, at least until the Star Trek The Next Generation episode Skin of Evil, which casually terminated the series' regular character, Natasha Yah, Denise Crosby. No magical resurrection for Yah, she was truly gone. Shocked fans debated her death. Some appreciated the abruptness, reinforcing the idea that risk is Starfleet's business. Others wished for a meaningful final moment or a purpose behind her demise. Her disappearance divided fans, who mourned the loss of the only woman lead in a non-nurturing role and disliked that a male assumed her vacated post, albeit an alien male, as in Worf, the Klingon. Yes, Yah appeared in a pair of alternate timeline stories, one of which led to Nevermind. As Yah once said, "I'm only going to tell you this just once, it never happened." She appeared in Yesterday's Enterprise and also in All Good Things as this TNG series finale. But yeah, but she asked to leave anyway, so it was what she wanted. She wanted to be written out of the show. But I don't think she particularly wanted to be killed off. She could have just left, couldn't she, and come to do something else at Starfleet, just in case they wanted to bring her back. Anyway, Anastasia Dula, Battlestar Galactica, and Candice McClure. I think she's absolutely gorgeous, Candice, amazing eyes. Anyway, Candice McClure's character, Anastasia D. Dula, was a reliable constant in Battlestar Galactica. Well liked by many fans, her abrupt death delivered a real gut punch. The first half of the split final season, Season 4.0, concluded with revelations. In it, the fleet's discovery that Earth was a radioactive wasteland left the audience stunned, and they spent months pondering its implications. Season 4.1 began with Sometimes a Great Notion, revealing this Earth's own Cylon War, and that the mythical 13th tribe had been humanoid Cylons. Dee fell apart at this, losing all hope, but on returning to the Galactica, she exhibited an unusual positivity, briefly reconnecting with Leah Dammer, Jamie Bamber, and then going to her locker humming pleasantly. There she says she wants to hang on to this feeling for as long as she can. After considering a photo of herself as an innocent child and photos of her parents, she removes her wedding ring, then in an act of surrender, dies by suicide. Or as they've got to say these days, self-deletes. I don't know why you can't say that word. I just did though. Lee can't comprehend her actions, saying he saw joy in her eyes when she kissed him goodnight. Because I think they were married, weren't they? The same questions plagued other characters and the audience, but the harrowing moment realistically depicted the harsh reality that suicide is often not preceded by warnings others easily recognise. And there, if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. That might be an American thing, I don't know. If they're in the UK, there's the Samaritans in there. Right, number 6, Carson Becket, Stargate Atlantis. Yes, this was a shocker. This came out of nowhere. Empathetic Scottish doctor Carson Becket. I've always wondered though with him, why didn't he have a British flag? I know he's supposed to be this meek doctor, but he wasn't that meek that he'd just have the British flag on his uniform. He had to have the Scottish saltire, didn't he? So anyway, empathetic Scottish Dr. Carson Becket began as a minor character on Stargate Atlantis. Yeah, he wasn't even the main cast. He was supporting role. However, the response, even though it was classed as a supporting role, it was still a memorable character that were in just about every episode. However, the response to actor Paul McGillian's portrayal prompted writer-producer Martin Gero to dub him the pilot's breakout star. This led to Becket making 15 appearances in Season 1 and eventually being promoted to a regular in Seasons 2 and 3. Given his popularity, Beckett's out-of-nowhere death in Season 3's Sunday met with jeers. It was shocking. All right. Fans saw it coming, however. Rumours of a funeral scene featuring a coffin draped in a Scottish flag triggered the Save Carson Becket campaign, which started 8 months before his on-screen demise. Many lamented the loss of a character considered the heart of the show. Some smelled a stunt at their expense, intentionally designed to stir up fan engagement and thus attract attention to the show. Naturally, the writers couldn't leave well enough alone. Becket returned, well, sort of, with the clone appearing in 7 episodes. Too little, too late. Yes, they found a clone of him that he didn't even know he were a clone. He thought he'd just been imprisoned by the Wraith for, however long. And we eventually, so he was eventually back. It was Beckett, because he still had Carson Beckett's memories. He just had a missing portion. Anyway. But yes, that's it. He was good with Carson Becket. And I was happy when they brought him back, to be completely honest. Albeit a clone. But it was still him. Right. Because I was never entirely... I didn't like his replacement, the Jewel State character. The actress Jewel State played the character. I forgot her name. And I never liked her. I didn't like her. But anyway. Number 5, Blake 7. Well, they all die in this one, don't they? Is that what we're going to say? Blake 7 represents an exceptionally ruthless kind of science fiction series, unafraid to eliminate its main characters. Gan, David Jackson, met his demise in the second season, and titular character Blake, Gareth Thomas, and Jenna, Sally Nivette, disappeared by its end. Callie, Jan Chappell, passed away off camera early in season 4, but that just scratches the surface. The show even killed 2 of the 3 apparently sapient computers aiding the protagonists. Only Aurak survived, maybe. The series finale, Blake dialed the darkness to 11. Blake returned but claimed Jenna was dead. Avon Paul Darrow shot Blake to death. Terran Federation troops gunned down Villa, Michael Keating, Dana, Josette Simon, Sue Lynn, Glynis Barber, and Tarrant, Stephen Pacey. Avon, surrounded, raised his gun and smiled as the screen cut to black, accompanied by the sound of gunshots over the credits. And this bleakest of Blake 7 segments aired on December 21st. Merry Christmas, fans! But I always thought, because you heard a noise like a door opening or something like that, and somebody entering, but you didn't see who it was. I think you just heard like footsteps. And he raised his gun and smiled, and I always thought, it's Servalan. He's killed his last act before he gets gunned down by the troops. He kills Servalan. That's what I think happened. Servalan was, the main baddie throughout Blake 7. A cliffhanger for an unproduced 5th series is how Chris Boucher, I don't know how you pronounce that, explained the gunning down, asserting only Blake had definitively died. Like the Monty Python Dead Parrot sketch, he proposed that the others were just stunned, but series creator Terry Nation believed the crew had been killed, complaining they were really dumb to do it. I killed off the Daleks, you remember? What a dumb thing that was to do. So I learned that lesson, and it should have applied to this. Viewers remain divided on the deaths and the ending to this day. Yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking when it happened. There's Sulin, the lovely Glynis Barber. That's what's his face? I forgot his name already. Villa. That's it. That's Villa. That's Avon. That's Tarrant, and that's Dana. But they all came later on. The original Blake 7 were Blake, Gareth Thomas, and Sally Nivette. Villa and Avon are the only 2 original ones left by the end of the series. Anyway, number 4, Hugh, Star Trek Picard. This was disgusting. I bloody hated this. Bloody Star Trek Picard seasons 1 and 2 were pigging awful. Terrible, for the most part. When the show, like Picard, capitalises on fan nostalgia by resurrecting well-known franchise characters, there's an inherent temptation to raise the stakes by killing one or more of them. But we all know that permanent deaths for regulars are generally off the table, and most new characters lack the audience investment necessary for attention-grabbing exits. This paints a bullseye on any returning guest characters from the past, or technically pretty much all of them, to be completely honest. So Picard resurrected next-generation cyberneticist Bruce Maddox, John Ailes, not the original actor, and promptly eliminated him. Yes, he was murdered by the drummer from Scott Pilgrim, and with no consequence for her. Voyager character Icheb, Casey King, also not the original actor, I forgot his name now, Manu somebody or other, made a return only to undergo gruesome torment and a mercy killing. Got his eye ripped out. His Borg eye. Anyway, they even offed Q, John Delancey. They didn't. No, they didn't. They tried to. Fan favourites Ro Laren, yep, she died as well, but this was in season 3. Michelle Forbes and Elizabeth Shelby. Elizabeth Dennehy resurfaced only to be bumped off, but Terry McAllister said Elizabeth Shelby's not dead. Even though we saw her get shot twice at point blank range, but he said she's not dead. And he's the showrunner, so he should know. The most controversial instance involved bringing back Hugh, Jonathan Del Arco, the franchise's most sympathetic ex-Borg guest character, just to pointlessly kill him off in the episode Nepenthe. And immediate fan fury followed. Leading showrunner and self-identified Star Trek fan, meaning he wasn't, Michael Chabon, to admit that he hadn't foreseen such a divisive reaction. Makes you wonder what rarefied circle of fandom he counts himself in if he couldn't see that easily anticipated reaction coming at warp speed. Yep, it was terrible. Seasons 1 and 2 were terrible. Season 3 were good, not as good as everybody makes it out to be, but it was a million times better than Seasons 1 and 2. But anyway. Number 3, Spike Spiegel, Cowboy Bebop. See, I know nothing about this. I've not seen the anime and I've not seen the live action, so I don't know sod all about this. The fate of laid-back bounty hunter Spike Spiegel, I'm probably mispronouncing that as well, at the end of Cowboy Bebop. Maybe I can watch it, because my son's just subscribed to Crunchyroll. So maybe it's on there. He wanted to watch God Eater, the God Eater anime series, because he likes the games. Anyway, Cowboy Bebop remains a matter of contention. Series creator Shinichiro Watanabe has tiptoed around the issue, and even the show's production team pushed back on the conclusion. Let's ignore the Netflix adaptation and its ending. Yeah, okay, not seeing them. While a significant portion of the audience accepts that Spike's final collapse signifies his death, dissenting views exist. Some argue that the ending may not be so tragic and point to instances where Spike survived similarly fatal situations. Others reference Watanabe's statement that those who interpret Spike as asleep are probably correct, though he may just mean it's up to the audience to decide. Those who believe Spike died draw attention to recurring symbolic imagery, such as white doves flying across the frame when Spike's love Julia is killed, and that such doves appear when Spike collapses. Even fairly unambiguous dialogue gets spun when Jet Black inquires about Spike's whereabouts. Laughing Bull explains that all living beings have their own stars, and when a life ends, the star falls and disappears. He states his star is about to fall. Watching the closing credits to the end reveals a star brightening, flickering and fading. Some viewers believe this star represents Spike's defeated nemesis Vicious, but others point out its disappearance is followed by an image of Spike's face on the ground and the text, "You're gonna carry that weight." I've no idea. I don't know because I've not seen it. So we'll move on. Number 2, Trip Tucker, Star Trek Enterprise is not dead. I don't believe it. It were all a holographic illusion. That's what it was. Anyway. Sorry, I saw something there. It's my back wall. There, hang on there. I thought, what's that little red box there in the corner of my screen? There. But it's my wall. It's red, and it's just happens to be framed. That painting that I did there, it just happens to be framed there by the red wall. I'm wondering what we're going on. Sorry about that. Right, number 2, Trip Tucker, Star Trek Enterprise. There he is. The annals of despised series finales include Seinfeld, Dexter, How I Met Your Mother, and Star Trek Enterprise, which is not that bad. It's in, if you watch it. It's not great, but it's not as bad as they make it out. Its concluding episode, These Are the Voyagers, rewarded its dwindling viewership with a kick in the teeth. How? The series' characters took a backseat to the next generation's Will Riker, Jonathan Frakes, and Deanna. And they killed Trip. Yeah. Charles Trip Tucker III, Connor Trinier, had a vibrant and easygoing personality, unwavering loyalty, and courage in defending his convictions that endeared him to viewers. In a misguided attempt to inject some gravitas into a pointless storyline, Trip met an abrupt end. His actions felt starkly out of character and unnecessary. Worse, another TNG interloper, Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, tipped off the audience to Tucker's fate, saying it's sad. Commander Tucker had no idea he wouldn't make it back. It's all a load of rubbish. After Trip blows himself up real good, his actual death occurs off camera. Afterward, he's forgotten faster than the dead red shirt on Gamma Trianguli 4. Is that a proper Star Trek planet? Probably. Windgrace will tell me in the comments. The finale provided no emotional closure for either the characters or the audience, leaving a bitter taste in the mouths of incensed fans. The series concluded with Trip not forgotten, and Riker uttering the underwhelming final line, "Computer, end program," arguably the most anticlimactic anticlimax in the franchise's history. It wasn't great, but the episode itself isn't that bad. But it's not great. It's not a good finale. Although it's nice at the end where you see all the different Enterprises, as they're doing these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, as they're doing that. But as I say, it turned out it all took place. That episode, at least, all took place on the holodeck on the Enterprise D during the events of the TNG episode "The Pegasus" in the season 6, I think, or 7. Is it season 6 or 7? I think it's 6. So a lot of fans have said, it's something that they've got a bit wrong in the history books and the hologram. It's not quite true because it's a holographic recreation. So like hashtag justice for Trip. He's not dead. Right, number 1, Lexa, the 100 or the 100. I don't know, because I've never seen it. I don't know what it's about. But it looks like they've done what Cartman didn't like in South Park. Joining the Pandaverse, put a chick in it, made a gay. The dystopian drama, The 100, unfolded in a world where divisions based on race, gender identity and sexual orientation don't exist. Against this backdrop, Lexa, Alicia Debnam Carey, emerged as one of the few multifaceted queer characters on television during that period. The series ignited a firestorm in its Season 3, Episode 13, as the long-evolving romantic tension between Lexa and Clark Griffin, Eliza Taylor, culminated in intimacy, only for Lexa to be gunned down immediately afterward. Well, that's usually happens. That happens quite a lot, with non-gay people as well in films. Usually they find a bit of happiness, and you think they're happy, they're doomed. That's what happens quite a lot, doesn't it? In action dramas. Anyway, explosive reaction followed. The 100 received accusations of queer baiting and invoking the dead lesbian trope. Is it a trope? I don't know. Gone to that. The hashtag LGBT fans deserve better trended more than 280,000 times in just hours. Within weeks, a fan-driven campaign amassed $57,000 for the Trevor Project, which provides suicide prevention services to LGBTQ youth, subsequently raising an additional $120,000. Major media outlets, including Polygon, Entertainment Weekly, The Hollywood Report and Variety, reported the controversy. Vox published a chart illustrating character deaths for the 2015-16 TV season, demonstrating that queer women characters suffered a higher rate of mortality than any other group. Showrunner Jason Rothenberg, I bet they do these days as well, because I think 90% of people on TV these days, whether they are playing a character that's queer or not, that queer characters do have a higher mortality rate, because most people on TV these days seem to be queer. But anyway, showrunner Jason Rothenberg initially defended the storytelling choices. I'm digging a hole for myself there, aren't I? But ultimately acknowledged that the outcome perpetuated the buddy or gays trope. So that's a trope as well. Got the dead lesbian trope and the buddy or gays trope. He admitted our aggressive promotion of the episodes and of this relationship only fueled a feeling of betrayal. He added, knowing everything I know now, Lexa's death would have played out differently. Given this sort of thing still happens on TV, colour me unconvinced. Don't know. Never seen it, so I don't know. And frankly, pretty much, although I've got a bit cross about some of the deaths, particularly Hugh and Trip, Star Trek ones, I don't really care, to be honest. In the grand scheme of things, who gives a monkeys? Who gives a monkeys? So there we go. The fictional characters, they're not really dead. So anyway. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Hang on, let me get rid of that. Right, so, on that sombre note, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say the